I'm Joe Kraus. The baseball postseason, the ALCS is also the Blue Jays and Royals. That'll be tomorrow, and also tomorrow the TNT Classic returns to the Lumberyard. It's the Tonawanda Warriors face off against the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks for the 106th chapter of the storied rivalry. The third longest rivalry in the country began all the way back in 1896 when teams were formed on both sides of the canal. Some local historians have disputed this game, however, because the status of the players as students is still questionable to this day. Historians rule that the 1909 game truly fueled the fire for this rivalry, and the team played for what was the Super Bowl trophy of its day, the Vanderbilt Eldred Cup. The cup remained in use until after the 1911 game, which almost ended the rivalry entirely. Known today as the Grease Pants game, the Lumberjacks were accused of applying a greasy substance to their legs to prevent them from being tackled. NT won the cup, but they lost all athletic ties with Tonawanda until 1916. The rivalry was then postponed again due to World War I and the Spanish flu epidemic, but since 1919 the game has been played annually, and until the mid-1950s it was a Thanksgiving Day tradition. The rivalry truly picked up in the 1920s and 30s when Tonawanda won most of the games, but NT was able to turn things around starting in 1936. Before leaving for Bucknell, Al Humphreys coached the Lumberjacks to victory as he had his players change into tennis shoes for the second half due to the fact that the field behind Lowry, Payne Avenue Stadium, was turned into a mini frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. The risk had turned into a high reward as Laverne Duger found Lorenzo Cazzagoni for a pair of touchdowns in the second half to give NT a 26-7 victory. Now, I mentioned this victory because the next year, possibly the greatest era of NT football began with one man, George Vetter. From 1937 to 1941, and from 1946 to 1970, with an interlude of serving overseas in between, George Vetter made NT football a powerhouse in Western New York. Under Vetter, the Woodchoppers went 25-3 against the Warriors, and his 194 wins are still the most in school history. That's your 5-minute bell. A reminder, today is day 4. Under his tenure, NT either won or tied for the United Frontier League title 11 times. Most of Vetter's matchups were against the man with synonymous with Warriors football, Quint Small. After the great Chris Tussin retired in 1945, Small took over in 1949 and stayed there until 1973. His team had winning records from 1956 to 1971, and Small was an even better baseball coach. Under his 31 years as their coach, the Warriors baseball squad made the Section 6 title 8 times. That's a lot. Vetter and Small truly are part of the legend of the TNT Classic, as their battles were witnessed by as many as 20,000 people. But as I did my research, 2 games really stood out. In 1953, the Warriors shockingly won over the Lumberjacks at the old Lumberyard, 14-13, snapping the Lumberjacks' 7-game winning streak. After falling short of scoring a go-ahead score that night, Frank Pilato would have the last laugh in 1954. Now a proud member of the NT Football Hall of Fame, Pilato had what he now calls the best game of his life. On the first drive of the game, Pilato fumbled the ball and vowed to Vetter that he would never screw up again. And well, we could say that Pilato was clutch. After Charlie Taggart ran it in for the score late in the fourth quarter, Pilato kicked the game-winning extra point, a 7-6 victory for NT. The ending of this game, as most of the games back then, is still under controversy, however, as some Warriors claim that an NT fan interfered on the final play, but again, we will never truly know. For a complete countdown of the top 10 list of the greatest TNT games, be sure to check out Logs from the Lumberyard later tonight. As for the TNT Virgin, in 2015, the Lumberjacks are looking for their 15th consecutive win against the Warriors, who haven't won since 2000, when they erased a 21-point deficit to win 24-21. Ethan Shack is the top man to watch from Tonawanda. The junior halfback ranked for 102 yards and a score last year in his TNT debut for Rob Gross's squad. Gross also has some TNT in his blood. He, his dad, his grandpa, his brother, and his uncle all suited up for the Warriors, and his mother was even a cheerleader. That is a TNT family for you. As for NT, the Lumberjacks will be without middle linebacker Bobby Broward for possibly the rest of the season with a foot injury, which means in March last May will have an even bigger TNT one-shot than he expected. The seniors in the top 5 on the team in tackling, and playing in their third and final TNT game tomorrow are linemen Bailey Fernuziak, David Oikors, and Aiden Holmes, along with halfback Cody Sakura, who hasn't fully been healthy since week 2. Zach Woodard will look to carry on the family name. It is the 5th year that Woodard will be suiting up as quarterback, and his brother Chris had some memorable games that we all witnessed the past couple years, so I'm really interested to see how Zach will do. So in conclusion, that is 106 years of TNT in about 7 minutes. And now here's the big question, who do I think is going to win the game? Well, I mean, this is an NT show after all, right guys? Let's go Jags! Let's go, Jacks. We'll be back on Monday. Have a great day, everybody. See you on Monday. Enjoy TNT, and we'll be back right after this.